This podcast is a member of the Red 5 Network. For more Red 5 Network podcasts and content creators, visit bio.link/red5.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
And hello, everybody. And hello, Spencer. Good to
What's
see
up?
you. What
Indeed,
is up?
Not much. Just it's a exciting time if you're a gamer, since there's a bunch of it's that summer game season where there's a bunch of stuff coming out.
Ooh, excellent. What's coming out?
There's all the different shows that happen. So PlayStation had their big presentation today showing stuff.
Okay.
The Switch 2 comes out tomorrow.
Ooh.
Summer
Does it
Games
come-
Fest is Friday.
Does it come with tariffs or without tariffs?
That's a whole ordeal.
That's a whole nother question.
That's a whole other thing right there.
Excellent. But that's cool.
Yeah.
Everybody enjoying the summer and some games. I know. I think Brad was enjoying some Star Wars games with his family, and hopefully we'll get. Is there anything missing in the Star Wars gaming world that you would like to see?
Oh my gosh.
Something there. And as you think, I'm going to say hello to the chat. Vader Rapina, what is up? Isaac, good to see you. They gone. Thank you very much for stopping by. Backyard TARDIS, Nick. And thank you, everybody, for coming by on a very special Wednesday. Well, our Wednesday Scarif Live here, doing some comic book talks.
Yeah.
But any games from Star Wars land that you would like to see?
We need Battlefront 3.
Yes.
That's my big thing. I was actually just playing Battlefront 2 last night after not playing it for probably a year or two, and it's so much fun. I suck at it because I haven't played it in so long, but it's so much fun, and it's like we need another. We need more.
Yes. Cool beans. Excellent. So any announcements? I'll give you some a chance to talk about any upcoming things that you got going. Let the chat know.
Not much, because last week I was sick, and I'm still not like completely recovered from that, because it kind of like hit back a bit over the weekend, and so all the stuff I had planned that was to come out last weekend or Monday or Tuesday this week just got pushed back to next week. So So stay tuned Sunday for the Comic Den, where I'm going to talk about Hulk Future Imperfect, honor the late legend Peter David.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So
I saw a lot of posts. Yeah, for sure. Nick says he wants a classic 2D side scroller collection of all the Super Star Wars games.
That'd be amazing.
That would be kind of fun, nostalgic wise. I remember, I think the one that I remember is The Empire Strikes Back from the Atari 2600. That's kind of cool, but that'll be kind of nice. Like I said, nostalgia like.
That's one of the few like old Star Wars games that like you can't readily just go out and buy, like on PC even. So it'd be cool to get.
Yeah. Knights of the Old Republic 3. Some folks are chiming in the chat there, but
I just want to know what's going on with that new one that they were going to do, like a whole remake of it, completely build it again from the ground up, and we don't know what's happening with that since they announced it. So
were they redoing it or kind of revamping like graphics wise, or was it going to be a whole new brand new?
It was going to be completely rebuilt from the ground up. They hired new writers for it and everything.
Oh wow!
I don't know what's going on with it now. As I've heard mixed things about, like, oh, it's getting canceled, and oh no, we're still working on it. So last I hear, they're still working on it.
Yeah,
it's just been a bit of a bumpy road. So
For sure, for sure. Excellent. So Brad and I are dropping a new episode tomorrow. It is ready and waiting to be released. Usually we drop our new episodes on Thursday at 6 a.m. just in time for the morning commute and the coffee.
Yeah.
So Brad and I never got together to talk about the animated show Star Wars Tales of the Underworld. So we got together and chatted, did a discussion on what some of our favorite things about Tales of the Underworld were. And I know it focused on two fan favorite characters. You had Cad Bane and Asajj Ventress. We talk a little bit about the controversial, I guess, some people when they saw the trailer or saw the beginning of the Asajj Ventress episode, obviously fans started to think about what that meant with canon, especially the book Dark Disciples. So we kind of talk a little bit about that. And our friend Daniel came back to do another Sentry mode, and I asked 5 questions, and those segments are always a lot of fun.
Awesome.
So that is in the pipeline, and I think June 14th or 13th, I think one of the days, the day that's not Father's Day, I think the day before, hosted by Brad, we're going to do a Star Wars trivia show on Scarif Live that Saturday at 7:00. That should be a lot of fun. And I know you were on the Scarif podcast doing a Sentry mode once or twice.
Yeah.
Maybe you can do a little studying, and we'll put you on the panel, and you can join.
Maybe.
But yeah, I mean, open invite. If anybody wants to join us on that Saturday to regale us with your Star Wars knowledge, impress us with your Star Wars knowledge, hit us up in the DMs, and we'll put you on the panel. We've got a couple of people already locked in, so that should be a lot of fun. Again, Star Wars trivia on Scarif Live. I think it's June 14th, if I'm not mistaken. Whatever day it is, it's that Saturday, so it'll be
right.
a Saturday a Scarif Live. Excellent. Impressive, most impressive. And speaking of impressive, let's put up the comic book, because we are reviewing and discussing Darth Maul, Son of Dathomir, from Dark Horse Comics. And actually, I was pleasantly surprised, and Vader Rapino is the one that suggested this comic series. I was really wanting to kind of get back into Dark Horse. I know Marvel had the IP for quite a long time. It went to Dark Horse for a really long time, and then now it's back with Marvel. But Dark Horse really has some great Star Wars stories, and I think this one is definitely one of them. Out of all the comic reviews that we've done, Spencer, where do you rank this series? And I know we're only going to be talking about issue number 2, but where would you rank these thus far?
Honestly, probably on top, just because it's a great. I mean, I love Maul, and giving, I think, a proper big Maul story that focuses on him is great. I mean, I think a big part of it is when you're comparing two great things, such as the Vader series that we talked about, where the big thing I think holding that back is each issue with that, even though it's the gimmick of it, you can only tell so much with one issue. Here, we have so far 2 great issues, I think, back to back.
Yeah.
And, that's so far a great first half to this story that I'm excited to see where it goes more. I read this years ago, and I generally don't remember how this ends. And so I'm very excited to be revisiting it, and I'm just reading it, issue by issue each week as we go through this.
Sure. Yeah, it's fantastic. I think, the first issue, one of the things that I noticed is that it was very action packed. You had, didn't we have like 2 action sequences right off the bat?
Pretty much.
Yeah, it was pretty packed. And I think, like Vader says, it quickly became a favorite of his. But it's I remember this from back in the day. And who was it? Was it you that told me that this was supposed to be kind of a Clone Wars episode?
Yeah, this was based on one of their scrapped arcs. which is cool because I mentioned it last time, but it's a Dark Horse, which isn't canon usually,
Sure.
except for these new licenses that they got recently with the kids stuff. But as far as the main adult comics, this is the only canon series because of that.
Yeah. Excellent. So Jeremy Barlow wrote the story, and there you got some of the other credits from the second page. Good stuff. Good stuff. So I'm going to read the synopsis a little bit just to catch up. Conspiracy of evil. Darth Sidious captured and interrogated his former apprentice Darth Maul and learned that the witch Mother Talzin was behind his resurrection. Aware of Talzin's growing power as a formidable adversary, Sidious devised a plan to use Maul to lure her out into the open where he can destroy her. And freed by his allies, Maul rejoined his Mandalorian army on Zanzibar. I was going to say Zanzibar, but soon fell under the attack of General Grievous. And what do you think of these characters coming back for this comic book? Again, knowing where this story kind of fits, it definitely makes sense for us to see Dooku. We've got General Grievous. It's the Mando force. It's really great.
I'm somebody that's always, for whatever reason, I've always been this way, where I've always gravitated towards the villains. They're almost always the highlight for me, unless they're a garbage villain. And so seeing a story where it's now all about the villains, and now it's maybe a situation of, well, both sides are pretty bad. Kind of hard to say, I guess, which side is less bad. But it's interesting. And so I think it's an awesome cast.
Well, you might enjoy the new animated show that's coming, the Darth Maul show.
Can't wait.
Yeah, they described that as it's not going to be a story about good guys versus bad guys. It's going to be a story about bad guys versus worst guys.
I love it. I'm in for that.
Yeah. So that should be a lot of fun. We'll check that out when it comes out. All right. So obviously, when we left the story last time, we had the second action sequence where General Grievous and his droid army just pretty much decimated Maul's forces on Zanzibar, and they were just pretty much wiped out. You remember that?
Yeah. I wanted to rewatch that episode. But I didn't get around to it.
Yeah. So they escape, little forces that they have. They escape, and he's meditating and contacting Mother Talzin. What the hell just happened? Okay. So here's obviously he is kind of communing with her and talking to her. Obviously they have a plan.
Yeah. Interesting. We saw a bit more of her this issue.
Yeah. And let's see.
Well, if I recall right, wasn't there like a special Mother Talzin episode with like Mace Windu or something like that?
I kind of remember that.
Wars. Yeah. And it's like it's interesting because this also makes me want to go back and rewatch that episode of seeing kind of how that connects with Talzin's backstory. Because
sure,
if I remember right, that's like after the big attack, and so I don't know. It'd be interesting to watch that again.
Yeah, and that's the cool thing too. I think this story kind of brings you back to that era.
Oh yeah,
which like you said, which prompts us to kind of watch that again. But yeah, so obviously their Maul is trying to get some advice from Mother Talzin, see what their next move is. And what'd you think of the art?
I like it. It still continues on from last issue being a good solid art style, I think.
Yeah.
That fits it all.
Yeah, I think so too. It's really great. So they are trying to guess what Dooku is guessing they will do in order for them to, kind of spoil their plans. But Talzin asks Maul and his forces to go to Ord Mantell. We've obviously heard that name before in
Yeah.
canon, other stories.
Yep.
And she informs them, I think, if I remember correctly, that there will be assistance there. And Darth Maul asks, "Are you coming with?" And she's like, "No, but you'll be well taken care of," something like that, right?
Yeah.
And it's interesting too, because I think we get a glimpse of Maul and his connection to the underworld. You know,
Right.
you've got the Pikes. I love the Pikes.
Oh yeah.
And
I've always loved the design.
and Black Sun.
Yep. Yeah, it's cool.
They're there. So
It just picks right off of the last big arc that you see Maul with, where he made these connections initially, and
yeah,
it's such a great follow up to that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, they arrive and they're trying to figure out, I think the Syndicate is really like puzzled as to why Maul would even attack Grievous and the droids, because the droids and Grievous, I mean, they have got some massive forces. Obviously, in the first issue, we see how, a lot of Maul's people didn't survive. They were drawn out. So it's interesting how we get a little bit of friction between Maul and the Syndicate here. So anyways, we've got obviously these two great characters, General Grievous and Count Dooku. They are on their way. They've got what was it? They've got spies that are informing them where the Darth Maul and his forces kind of ran off to. So they are chasing them, right?
Correct.
Yes.
Trying to find Mother Talzin.
I forgot. At this point, do we know why specifically they want to find Talzin, just to destroy her? Because she's the one that...
All we know is there's something Palpatine wants with her, I think.
Okay.
I don't remember if it's to specifically just kill her or not, but
yeah,
it's because Palpatine said so.
Okay. Yeah, right.
Don't question what Palpatine wants.
Yeah, I mean, I think at this point, fans can kind of guess what they want, what he wants.
Right.
But it does. You've got some power players here, Dooku and Palpatine, Darth Sidious, I guess, and the droid forces. So it's definitely something that is pretty cool. Obviously, they find out where the Maul went. He's giving orders basically, to the droids, go and destroy their forces. And I love this frame here. I used it earlier today. But you will leave Talzin to me.
Right.
And again, I think they're really portraying Dooku here in such a great way. Sometimes when writers get a hold of different characters that are very well known in canon, they kind of sometimes they seem a little off. Do you have any reservations about how they've handled the characters that we know so far?
Not so far. I've been able to read them all as kind of their respective the Clone Wars voices in my head through this, and nothing seems out of place to me as I read through this. And so I think they did a good job thus far, I think, with all the characters.
Yeah. I can hear it in my voice in my head too.
Right. Yeah.
Reading it with their voice, but for sure. So, obviously we've got they land, they pool their resources together. You got the Pikes, you've got the Mandalorians here. Really good stuff. And I like that you see some really interesting designs with the Mandalorians, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
But I think the Syndicate is still a little puzzled. What are we doing here?
Yeah. Questioning Maul.
Yeah. But, and really, it seems like he does kind of have a plan. He just hasn't told them yet. But there's, everything's happening so fast. The attack, the fact that Count Dooku found them, the ships that are landing. I mean, everything seems to be happening real fast, so fast that there's no time to kind of delegate orders. But
yeah, it reads so much to me. I mean, same for last issue, but I think for me personally, more so this issue, where it like literally reads like a Clone Wars episode.
yeah,
Like I literally just like visualize like, okay, this is how a Clone Wars episode would be paced. You have your little bit of setup, and then it gets right into the action, and it literally just feels like you're reading a Clone Wars episode.
yeah, absolutely. And again, getting back to the art, it just seems like even some of the finer details of background characters are well represented. You don't have sometimes you see repeated characters as you see in the shot, but they're all pretty much treated like individuals. You've got the Knight brothers that arrive here. Brother Viscus, that's a funny name.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they're pretty cool. They
like
were the Knight brothers that were sent by Mother Talzin. These are the warriors of Dathomir that will help defeat, or so they think. But yes, so they are pledging their allegiance, obviously, to Maul here. But again, things are happening too quickly. There's no time to delegate the orders here, because they have arrived. I love this little sequence of shots here.
Yes.
They arrive at Zanzibar. No, this is Ord Mantell, but it's really cool. You've got this almost kind of is paced like, I know you said it from the animated shows, but it's almost paced like like a TV show. You've got some moments of quiet shots, hyperspace. They fall out of hyperspace, and he doesn't mess around. Fire.
I completely read that in his voice, and I was like, "Yep, that's."
Did you cough too?
Yeah, well, probably.
Yeah, but no nonsense. This is a great shot, and it's one of those shots. When we talk about artwork that's frameable.
Yeah, definitely one of my favorites. So far.
Really great shading and stuff like that. So yeah, again, some this complete page is frameable. Each panel is really great.
I really like the before and after panels that we got. We got it with last page with the hyperspace, and then this with the city being attacked is really cool.
Yeah, the bombardment. They really don't stand a chance. There's the separatist ships there. Really good stuff.
Yeah.
So let's see what happens. Obviously, they are panicking. Maul says, take your positions. Let's get out of here. See, look, it's like, Brother Viscus, there's no time for briefing. Just go.
Just trust me.
Yeah. But again, look at this art.
Yeah. I love seeing all the Mandalorians there.
Yeah. Really good stuff. I love that.
Cool. Yeah, I think they really nailed Maul's expression there.
Right. There's a really great texture of Maul, and not just Maul, the rest of the characters too. All right, so they're on the move. They give each other a little pep talk. You heard them. Let's go scrap some droids. Victory or death. Hooah!
Victory or death.
And again, structured like a TV show or a movie. You see this shot, and I can almost picture John Williams, music as the droid ships kind of land, appear on the horizon and land. So for sure. pretty good stuff. So obviously the droids arrive, and Grievous really is pretty. What do I say? Pretty brutal.
Yeah.
In this series.
I really showcasing his position as a general.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, like I said, the action starts right away. You've got the Mandalorians, the Black Sun, the Pikes fighting, and meanwhile, and again, another one of those shots that is would look
awesome.
really great as a framed picture. But here, Dooku too. He's like, level the city until they are found. They're trying to draw her out, Mother Talzin,
Right.
and that is pretty interesting. You've got a lot of action happening behind, around Dooku, and he's very centered. He's very calm, and I think it gives you an idea of what kind of Jedi, lost Jedi he is or he was.
Yeah, for sure.
And I know Brad always mentions that Dooku and Qui-Gon, if it weren't for their difference of opinion, I guess would have gotten along.
Oh, for sure. I find it interesting because I was just thinking that I don't recall many times, if really any, where you really see like Dooku out in like an open battle like this.
Right.
And so it's cool to see him in that position.
Mm-hmm. And I know, let me see, I'm trying to think. No, actually, he wasn't in battle. I think he was just traveling to see Sidious in Attack of the Clones.
Like that's probably the closest, but even then he wasn't. He's kind of just in his own room and fought Yoda, and that was it.
Right. So we've got Grievous looking for them on the planet. Obviously, the bombardment is continuing. But Darth Maul has a little surprise up his sleeve because they can't find the ships that are supposed to be there. Right?
Yeah. Lured them into Maul's trap.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, kaboom! Where'd it go?
Boom. View.
Yeah. So, again, just really great art.
Oh, yeah.
Colorful stuff. You've got the Mandalorian ships that kind of were hiding, I guess, behind the moon or whatever.
Yeah.
And they come out of hiding to exact their damage. But really cool stuff. I think it gives you a great idea. Again, structured like a Clone Wars episode. You've got such kinetic energy in the framing of the comic book and the story.
Yeah, very cinematic for sure. Yeah. Like I said, it gave me more of the, like I'm watching a Clone Wars episode, more so this one than last one.
Yeah. So getting back to Dooku, we see him with some of his assassin droids. And the assassin droids, I think one or two of them get zapped from behind. And we see that I got to give it to the penciler, the artist here, because look at this shade. This character is half in shade in the sun here. Really great stuff, man.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And again, calm, cool, collective Dooku is threatened by, these brothers. What do they call them?
Night Brothers.
Night Brothers.
Yeah.
Sounds like a romantic song by Casey and the Sun. Night Brothers. So Dooku says you will find that task beyond your abilities, Night Brother, talking about getting him killed.
Yeah.
I like when characters drop the mic like that.
Right.
All right. So then we cut back to another scene where the rest of the syndicate are fighting. Again, really nice artwork here.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Getting to see the front lines of the battle here, too.
Yeah, absolutely. So you've got one of them. Yeah, you've got some of the larger battle droids.
This is something that stood out to me because I don't recall seeing this kind of battle droid before.
No.
Unless I'm just completely forgetting something.
No, this might be something new. And remember, last week we talked about some of the battle droids that had the different tattoos.
Those same kind are attacking.
Yeah.
In this battle. So yeah.
But they must have saved like a certain classification of battle droids for important targets. Or...
I wonder if there's this idea where we saw the evolution of clones, right? Like we know how there's like the different, like what is it, up to 3 marks of clones, or versions of them or whatever.
Right.
But then we didn't necessarily get to see that as much with the droids, I guess. And this is them, I guess, trying to do that.
Yeah. It's a good reasoning as any, for sure. We get a glimpse of the action back up in space, and it's a doozy. Again, very kinetic, very there's a lot of motion in these frames, and I like that the frames start to get a little crooked to kind of give us give us some more more of an image of action and stuff like that. They're not straightforward anymore.
Right.
But the framing is really nice.
I do think it's pretty good.
Yeah. And I like that they overlap like this.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they came out of hiding. They're destroying some of the ships. And let's see. They're going to land on the separatist ship where General Grievous is taking command of the attack.
Yeah.
And they're going to take what does it say? They're taking the fight right to Grievous. Yeah. So very gutsy.
Indeed. Exciting.
And, talking about exciting again, this so far this series has been really chock full of action.
Yeah.
And battles and things like that. So we're getting a lot more of that here. We cut back to the action with Dooku. It's funny because this one almost looks like Yellow Daredevil.
a little bit.
Yeah. But we've got these guys attacking, and I don't think it's going well for them.
No. Dooku made a quick work out of most of them there.
Yeah. I like that they cut back and forth, very much structured like a series, like a TV show. So the droid is telling Grievous that they're boarding the ship, and so he's actually on the bridge, and he's telling Grievous, Maul is telling Grievous to go ahead and disconnect the droid command signal.
Yeah, Maul's wanting to disconnect them all.
Yeah. And he gives them a choice: disconnect them or die.
Yep.
And then he's like, you know what? I don't care. You can do both. It doesn't matter to me.
That's awesome. Yeah. I love the little detail we get to see on the Darksaber there.
Yeah.
It's very cool. I also like it as well, as this is so on brand as well, where you see Grievous's butt kicked in every single thing that you see him in as well. And so, perfectly on brand.
Yeah. And back to the planet, obviously the droids have a little bit of a victory here, and they are claiming that their orders are to take no prisoners. So everyone that is huddled around the attack area are about to die, because that's the orders: take no prisoners. But at that moment, the droids lose their command function, and then they just kind of drop, which gives the Mandos the advantage. I kind of thought that was a little too convenient, but I guess Maul didn't know exactly what was going on down on the planet.
I think it's your kind of like typical action sort of movie or show plot where
sure,
they always wait till the last second for everything. And
and then getting back to Dooku, I mean, I'm really impressed at this art. Look at this.
It's really good.
I mean, the muscle tone and the shading on characters is really what's impressive and pretty realistic, don't you think?
Yeah, I think you mentioned it earlier that the shading here really makes so many things just really stand out.
Yeah.
And so great work on both penciler and inker there.
Yeah, for sure. So let's see. The Night Brothers, or no, the Mandalorians finally come in from escaping from the battle droids, and they pretty much stop Dooku from killing this Night Brother.
Yeah.
Because he was about to
be dead.
He was about to be unliving. All right, so we're on the bridge of the ship, General Grievous, and what happens to General Grievous at this point? We don't see him, do we?
We don't see him. All we know is that he's defeated.
Yeah, he's defeated. He convenes with Mother Talzin again, and says, "It is done, Mother. Dooku and Grievous have been captured. We now control their forces. Well done, my son." And here's that goofy shot of his cheek being grabbed by Mom, like last time. Yeah. This must be like an inside joke from the artists. I don't know. It's just kind of funny.
The eyes there. That's what makes it stand out.
Yeah. But yeah, so this is another victory for Darth Maul, even though he did get him and his forces did kind of get their butts kicked all throughout this series. He keeps getting some wins, but this time, mission accomplished. And I think this issue and last issue, again, just really, really jam-packed with action. It moved the story along quite rapidly, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, that is it. Together we will have our revenge. And the next issue is called The Proxy War. But yeah. So issue number 2 is done. Good stuff. So again, what are your thoughts of issue number 2? And how many are these? Is it 4?
Yep, 4.
Yeah. So we're halfway there, but I'm incredibly well written, well drawn. The artwork is great. What are your thoughts so far?
Yeah, I completely agree. I think it really well carried the story on from that first issue. Very action packed, because once you get past that, first 4 or 5 pages, it's just a very quick page turner. At least for me, it's just all the action and everything that goes on, and it's really good. It's like I said earlier, and we'll keep on saying it. Literally, just reads like a Clone Wars episode. Yeah, which is cool. And this issue made me wish even more from the last one that I wish this is something we actually got to see on screen instead of reading it in this comic form. But you know what? At least we get this great story still in some way. So.
Yeah, I agree. And again, out of all the comic books that we've reviewed, we got the Cassian and K2SO. We've got Vader. What was the first one? Vader's.
Oh my God.
Vader. Something.
I want to say it Visions, but it's not Dark Visions.
Yeah, Dark Visions. Yeah.
There we go.
So out of all the comics that we've reviewed, all the series, is this one that you would revisit more so than the others? Do you think?
Ooh, that's a good question. Yeah. See, it's a matter of how often do I actually revisit stuff, because I have so much else that I just read. I'm always one of those people that doesn't often revisit stuff, to be honest.
Oh, okay.
Just because I always just look for things that are new. Also, if it's something I truly love. However, though, as I had mentioned earlier, I do like this more definitely than the Vader one. And it's such a quicker read too, and having that be a great, I don't want to say unique, but a little more of a unique story, I guess. Just being all with the villains and everything, and that definitely hits the right strides for me. I mean, the Vader ones definitely did as well too, but it definitely had some
more than others.
Stuff. Yeah. And so, but this one does a lot of right things for me. You get to, I think the big thing for me with this is that when it's all about the villains, you get to, that means that when we go through this, all the highlights are with these villain characters, which I just personally find cool to see. Those characters that you wouldn't usually see highlighted as much on screen,
right?
Be highlighted in the way that they are in this series. Like seeing Maul win here. Like, when do you ever see Maul win?
Sure.
I can't think of a time really on screen when you do, and so it's cool.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's really cool to see this. And for me, there are one or two issues of Dark Visions that I really went back to because I like the story, I like the artwork. But this has been consistent so far, and we'll see. We'll see next week, and then when we finish this series, we'll see how consistent it is. But it really has surprised me how consistent it is. Really loving the artwork, really loving the energy that it gives me, and obviously knowing that it could have been a Clone Wars episode. Really, that's really cool. I love seeing that. So we're halfway there. I like the fact that it's been a little bit like give and take. The Grievous won the first issue, Darth Maul won the second issue, but I think there's so much back and forth, and the battles have been really great where you really don't know where Victor's going to land. So I kind of like, it's not like predictable, not too much of a guessing game, but it's really, I think it's really great.
For sure.
And once we finish this series, we'll obviously I'm going to ask you, what your final thoughts are on it. But definitely would recommend this. And obviously, thank you, Vader, for recommending this story. And again, this, I don't know I can't remember what year this came out. Dark Horse hasn't been Star Wars related in a long time, but this is definitely one of those stories. If you are out there on eBay or in the secondary market, check out your local comic book store and buy the single issues if you can, or you bought the trade paperback, right?
Indeed.
Yeah, so good stuff. Definitely highly recommend this one for sure. And I know we're not done with the series yet, but so far it's been pretty damn good.
For sure.
Excellent. I want to thank all the people in the chat that joined us tonight on Scarif Live, our midweek comic book review, and we've got two more issues of this comic book. Next week we'll do issue number 3 at the same time, so please watch the socials for that announcement, and anything else that we're doing here on the Scarif Scuttlebutt podcast. We thank you, and then obviously. Give Spencer a follow over at Dingus Den, but where else can people find you to say hello there?
Just be sure to follow Dingus Den, because I'm using that account on Twix, as I call it, Twitter/X, whatever you want to call it nowadays. I'm using that Dingus Den account a lot more now, so just to try to see if I could get a little more engagement with the stuff I do over there.
Excellent. Yeah, so. For sure. And if anybody is able, we'd love to have you as a patron guest, patron supporter. The link is up top. It's pinned to the chat. Otherwise, you can head on over to patreon.com/scarescuttlebutt and or throw us a couple bucks for coffee.
There we go.
Our links are all over the place, but thank you, everybody. Thank you, Spencer, again for joining me on this edition of Scarif Scuttlebutt Live, and we're doing a comic reviews. I'm having a lot of fun, man. I hope you are.
Yeah, no, I've been loving these, and these it's been something to give me really look forward to. On Wednesdays. Wednesdays usually isn't a day where I have something to really look forward to. And this is something to always look forward to since we've been doing this.
Excellent. And I think I'm gonna find the trade paperback at a local comic book store. Maybe we'll do a giveaway at the end of this series.
Awesome.
That would be awesome. Thank you so much. All right, folks. Until next time, that's Spencer. I'm still Ro, and don't forget to download the latest Scarif Scuttlebutt podcast tomorrow morning, and listen to all the tomfoolery that Brad and I share here on the Scarif Scuttlebutt podcast. Remember, we're part of the Red 5 Network. Proud founding members. Head on over to bio.link/Red5 for more Red 5 shenanigans. And yeah, that's about it. We'll talk to you guys later. We'll see you out there in the Twitterverse and on all the socials. Check it.